Yuan Wuta smiled with a sinister grin. His body bent low, arms crossed in front of his chest. From his body, black energy surged like a violent wave, instantly transforming into a colossal form. 8 jong tall, like a giant titan breaking through the void. His figure grew larger and larger. By the jong, by the hundreds of jong, by the thousands of jong, accompanied by thunder and lightning that echoed and shook the entire sky. He stood towering in midair, looking down at Jiang Chun as if he were a lowly worm. A proud smile spread wide, Yuan Wuta gleefully boasted. Zhoupian Xinming has pushed me to the threshold of Zhejiang. Just one final piece, and I will completely cross over. Madness flashed in his eyes. An ancient script brightly appearing right on his forehead. His body trembled under the overwhelming power, teeth clenched tightly. Then he shouted loudly, "Shinji Shore, open." Immediately, his entire body released a terrifying energy radiating in all directions, like a mutated sprout breaking through the ground and shooting straight up to the sky. A powerful aura filled the air. Thunder roared and winds howled. The sky changed color, and a sealed domain was established. Witnessing this scene, a group of elders all stood up at once, shouting non-stop. Unmatched Saint Sun, today is the day of ascension to godhood. Sandao will surely triumph. Yang Ming also clapped and smiled brightly, extremely excited. Only Yan Jun remained leisurely propping his chin, his cold gaze saying, "Over 100 million Jiao Zizhong? Truly beyond expectations. But to overturn destiny? Still a long way off." In Yan Jun's pupil flashed a fierce ray full of deadly aura. His hand casually propped his chin, the corner of his mouth curling, into a sinister smile. The domain just opened, locked all escape routes, even if the entire Jiao Zizhong self-destructed within seconds. By then, Jiang Chen would have long turned to ashes. On Jiang Chen's side, Ji Lingqiu clenched his fists tightly, his eyes filled with anxiety. He gritted his teeth, trembling inside. The spirit of Yuan Wuta could actually withstand 10 pieces of divine brightness, meaning he had already pushed open the Shizhuan door. In this battle, the little god would be hard-pressed to turn the tide. Shen Yu was extremely anxious. Quickly stepping over to Jiang Shenji, his tone sharp, "Old Kuang, you just stand there watching without saying anything. Give me a definite answer quickly. Besides the 10 billion Jiao Zizhong, does the little god have any other cards?" Jiang Shenji remained silent, his eyes never leaving the battle screen. He was quiet for a long time before speaking briefly. "I don't know, but one thing is certain. Jiang Chen absolutely will not die here." His gaze distant, as if touching some faint memory. His voice slow. "Years ago, someone came back from the future carrying a cicada. I don't clearly remember the face, but the 3 prophecies that person left are still clear. Now is the time the second prophecy comes true. That person told me to give Jiang Chen a jade box, saying it contains a method to counter an existence beyond Shizhuan. If so, he cannot die in the Lingyun secret realm." Jiang Shenji was silent for a moment, then slowly spoke each word. He still hadn't used up 80 billion Jiao Zizhong, hadn't eliminated Yan Jun, nor had he drawn out the appearance of the ancient existence beyond Shizhuan. So how could he have died here? Hearing this, Shen Yu looked toward the battlefield, his gaze gradually steadying, and nodded slightly in response. "Yes, I understand." Facing the giant titan form of Yuan Wuta, a cold, sharp gaze swept over the opponent's body. This body was no different from the ancient divine corpse in the secret vault of the Ji family. If I were to unleash the full 10 billion Jiao Zizhong, perhaps even the secret realm would collapse. Then let's try 1 billion first. He calmly raised his hand, and countless creatures poured out from the void. Swirling densely around him, his voice echoed coldly, "Everyone knows I am the sea-pacifying king, but they have forgotten another title of mine." The swarms of dust creatures flowed like fierce fish. So dense they formed a giant curtain that obscured the sky and earth. Their breath made the atmosphere suffocating. Hard to breathe, Jiang Chen's voice rang out loudly. Tianzai Junju. Witnessing this, Yuan Wu Ta was stunned, his expression constantly changing, eyes wide open, lips trembling as he whispered, 1 billion creatures. Jiang Chen didn't bother with that panic. He lightly waved his hand and decisively ordered, 300 million, wipe out the riffraff. Immediately, each swarm of insects separated, shooting off like black arrows aimed straight at the enemy. The black leaf forest immersed in a dense black swarm, the terrifying howls echoing endlessly, a demonic wailing so chilling it numbed the listener's mind. Meanwhile, most of the remaining dust insects still swirled around Jiang Chen, his hand blazing with energy, his gaze cold as ice sang. The remaining 700 million. Follow me to annihilate Yuan Wu Ta. A command to kill ran out. Kill! Hundreds of millions of dust insects merged, transforming into a gigantic creature. The titan insect with a colossal body, sharp teeth, and fiercely glowing red eyes charging straight at Yuan Wu Ta like a massive firework exploding in the sky. Yuan Wu Ta roared excitedly, a ferocious smile spreading across his lips. He clenched his fist tightly, focusing all his strength into the punch. Come on! A punch exploded, tearing the space apart, the violent collision scattering countless dust insects in all directions. With blood-red eyes, he laughed like a madman. Jiang Chen, you want to resist me with just this swarm of bugs? Ridiculous, watching Yuan Wu Ta crush the titan insect with one punch. Jiang Chen remained calm. Since he couldn't confront him head-on, he would change tactics. He lightly twisted his wrist, flicked his fingers, controlling countless dust insects to continue wrapping around the enemy. A thought briefly crossed his mind. Xiaozhou might be heartbroken, but it was better to endure the pain once than to let them fall in vain. The shattered swarm glowed, turning into a series of consecutive explosions, raining down on the giant body like a dazzling barrage of flares. The continuous explosions roared, the destructive force spreading from the chest to the abdomen, then radiating throughout the body. Yuan Wu Ta's flesh seemed to be burning. His internal organs shattered. He screamed miserably, in the midst of the stabbing pain. He suddenly regained some clarity, raising his hand high. A blue-white light flared up in his palm. He howled, Element Wuxing Qingdao clenching the divine blade tightly. Yuan Wu Ta swung his arm, tracing an arc of light. Killing intent surged. His voice echoed with this power. I am the divine Jiang Chen. Today I will send you and those worthless insects to the realm of death. Ji Hong En and Gu Kai Tian both jumped up simultaneously, their faces pale, shouting in panic. Wu Xing Qingdao, the divine weapon of the elemental heavens. Meanwhile, Ji Ling Cho wiped sweat from his face, murmuring, This move, I fear even I cannot withstand it. Recognizing the overwhelming killing intent, Jiang Chen immediately gave orders. The dust insects retreated rapidly. His voice deepened a self-destruct wave. The remaining ones fall back immediately. Yuan Wu Ta roared, his eyes bloodshot, using the same old trick. Dream on. He gripped the hilt tightly and struck down fiercely. In an instant, clusters of dust insects exploded into ashes. He shouted loudly, Wang Tu Ji Dun. Jiang Chen remained unshaken, spreading his arms wide. Countless dust insects gathered around his body, twisting around him like a dense black river with cold, sharp eyes. He spoke in a deep, majestic voice. I am the king, and you all are my soldiers. Under the dark night sky, the wind howled fiercely, millions of swarmed bodies rising like tidal waves, lifting Jiang Chen off the ground. He roared, his aura soaring to the heavens. Huang Jibing Xingshi, every cell in Jiang Chen's body seemed to explode. Heat spreading throughout his body, vibrating even through every pore, making him unable to help but tilt his head back and let out a long roar. On the Shujia branch, Xiaojin looked down, her face tense and worried as she exclaimed, Sir, at this stage, your divine soul can only barely sustain using the Bingxing Shi with 400 million Zhou Si Zhong. If you exceed that, Shujia will collapse and your divine soul will dissipate, even if you remain safe. After this move, you will need a long time to recuperate before you can recover. Hearing this, Jiang Chen immediately shouted, Stop! causing the swarm dust to quickly lower his body from above and gently set him down on the ground. He furrowed his brow slightly, thinking to himself, if this method isn't enough. As the thought flashed, a black and red divine sword condensed in his hand. Emitting a fierce sword aura, the divine weapon Tianzui, Zhang Chen activated his divine consciousness and immediately summoned Shu Jia. In the void, white light blossomed, radiating in all directions. Looking at the divine tree's shadow, he smiled softly and whispered, Wan Wu Zhu Shu, today you follow me to suppress the gods and demons. Witnessing that scene, Ding Chunja broke out in a cold sweat, his voice trembling. What exactly is that divine tree? It's too terrifying. Nangong Yin also turned pale. Hurriedly stepping back, his whole body chilled. Just a glimpse made me feel as if my soul was about to be forcibly ripped out. At this moment, Feng Wuji abandoned Ouyang Yi to be dealt with by the dust mites. He himself could no longer bear the light emitted from Shu Jia and shouted loudly, Stop looking! Shen Yu was both shocked and amazed, murmuring, I didn't expect he could absorb up to 400 million Juxi Zhang within the battle formation. Jiang Xianji stepped forward, frowning deeply. Even the soul Shizuan cannot withstand this level, yet his physical body remains firm. When we were in the void spirit realm and fought Ao Qian, I suspected he had once used the battle formation. But since there was no weapon and no sound, I couldn't be sure. Now there is no doubt. It turns out that 80 billion Juxi Zhang was not the final trump card. As if suddenly recalling something, Shen Yu's eyes widened, her voice filled with horror. Could it be that tree? Yes, it is exactly that tree. In that moment, Shen Yu suddenly remembered the white glowing tree. She had seen it before and could not be mistaken. Do you remember? Last time, the little god self-destructed millions of Juxi Zhang to fight against Xiao Yuan Shan, and you told me to erase everyone's memories. Shen Yu stepped closer to Zhang Xianji, her gaze sharp and cold. When I used dream energy to enter Jiang Qian's sea of consciousness. In the chaos, I briefly saw a giant tree before being thrown out. Zhang Xianji tilted her head to look at her and replied decisively. When Zhang Qian awakened his profession, this tree also appeared. He is a Yuling Shear of divine level. Shen Yu raised an eyebrow. Yuling Shear? What nonsense is that? I don't understand it. But that thing definitely surpasses all ordinary professional systems. If it must be ranked, then that profession is even higher than divine level. Zhang Xianji was stunned for 3 seconds, her expression stiff as she whispered, higher than divine level? He knew Shen Yu usually slept deeply, but lived extremely long and belonged to the spiritual system. Her words were absolutely not casual. He swallowed hard and whispered, if it truly surpasses divine level, then what exactly does he possess? Shen Yu waved her hand, not wanting to fuss any longer. Regardless of whether that tree is divine level or not, I only care about one thing, whether Jiang Qian can take down that perverted titan. Stop philosophizing and just say it straight. With your combat experience, can the little god's soldier formation fight against Yuan Wu Ta? Jiang Xianji frowned, clasped her hands behind her back, and slowly said, Listen to my explanation. The soldier formation is also ranked. The military forces that can be mobilized vary. A lower-level soldier formation can only open 2 layers, while my 3 Jade soldier formation can open 5 layers. He pointed towards the battlefield ahead. I once borrowed the power of 400,000 Shir Shenjun, which allowed me to resist 10 powerful Jujuan warriors and even kill 1 or 2 of them. But Zhang Qian is different. He holds 400 million Ju Shizhong. He lowered his voice, his expression grave. Moreover, it's been hidden that can open at least 10 layers. Only upon reaching this level can the original essence of Ju Shizhong be triggered, forming an abyss that swallows everything. He paused for a moment, then concluded, to be honest, instead of worrying about Jiang Qian, it's better to prepare incense for Yuan Wu Ta. Don't think that just because he is a giant titan, he is invincible. Look, he can no longer even smile. Not to mention that Yuan Wu Ta only borrows the power of the false god. Even if he truly reached Shir Xuan, he would definitely die today. This video ends. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel.